summer, last month of summer. Can you believe?
I can't believe it. It's crazy. Guys,
Summer's dead in 3 weeks. Summer's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Guys, welcome back to Selling Frankston.
Oh, we're on. Okay.
We are live. I've got that all on record.
Lovely.
It's the behind the scenes one. Number one. We've got some funny drops going out this month, don't we? For the last month.
We do. We certainly have some good entertainment and just certainly great marketing that is synonymous with our brand, I suppose. So we certainly deliver, professionalism, but we also don't take ourselves too serious.
It's pretty wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Josh, for a couple of the boys. A lot of the guys I know through my football club, they give it to me because they get a lot of the pamphlets, but they like it. They say, "Well, we've got you on our fridge." And
anyone that's out there, I just did it myself. You chuck them in the bin.
Yeah.
So let's be real. If at least I'm walking to the bin and I've got a chuckle going on, you're going to remember that.
Yeah. Look, pamphlets, drops, they've been around forever and a day. And, people say like EDMs, that's email distributed, mail outs and social media, et cetera. All those things work. Drops still work to this day. So there's people, and it's subconsciously they got in their mind. When people want to sell, so like in our core area where we work, I'd say the average person lives there for at least, it used to be 7 years, they'll turn over. Now I'd say it'd be double that. So it's about 15 years, 14 to 15 years. But it's like when you're looking to buy something. I remember looking to buy this nice BMW and I didn't notice it on the roads. And all of a sudden, because I got into the car yard, had a look at what I wanted, all of a sudden, it just, you're on the road, you're just seeing the same cars, you're seeing BMWs, and it's no different to when an owner goes to sell. They're not thinking at all. But then when they start getting everything ready, it's those little 1%ers that, they go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. I've got his calendar. Yep, I've got his, I like what he...
Will you start paying attention to who's in the letterbox for those couple of weeks?
Those couple of weeks leading up, and that's really interesting. So it doesn't actually have an effect straight away. It's long term. So it's playing the long game. But that's marketing on real estate, but that's another story altogether. But Josh, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good.
Yep.
Game day was good. Sunday was good.
Yep.
Did a lot of life admin. Woke up feeling a little bit under the weather, not feeling 100% yesterday. So took it very easy, relaxed, fell asleep on the couch. What about you?
Work Saturday, busy yesterday, getting a lot of things organised at my place, and then was fortunate enough to go and see my little nephew and celebrate his 10th birthday, double digits, young Sebi. So,
very good.
It was good.
Good birthday?
Good. Yeah, it was a great birthday. So, quickly, Super Bowl's on today.
Super Bowl it's in the background as well.
The Patriots, it's going in the background. Patriots versus Seahawks. Who are you going for?
Couldn't give a flying beep. Wait, where's the beep for that one? I need it. Just give me a sec. Yep. What about you? Who are you going for?
Look, in this game, I'd like to go the underdog. Seahawks are dead favourite. They're on. They're very, very short price favourites. I'd like to see the Patriots.
Well, that's Tom Brady's old.
Yeah, Tom Brady's, but I think the Seahawks. Look, it'd be great to see him get up. They haven't. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to jump into the main topic.
Straight into the main topic.
I mean, that's as distracted I reckon everyone will be today.
Boring.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into real estate. What's going to get your blood going? All right.
Well, that's what people have clicked on this. They're going to see the caption. They're going to see, why are we listening to two guys talking about the weather?
Yeah, shit. Yeah.
Oh, you've left the phone on.
That's okay.
Welcome to the club.
That's
all right.
okay.
Guys, we're just going to explain a bit of a psychological thing to think about when you are selling. Every single time you put your property on the market, buyers are wanting to get it as cheap as possible. The seller, what are they wanting, Dad?
Absolute premium dream hallelujah price.
Yes.
Generally speaking.
Yes. And
it's that wide range. So you've got the sellers usually up here, buyers are always down here, and then it's somewhere in the middle where you're going to try and find that. You've got market value, logical price, but as an agent working for our clients, we want to create an emotional result, and that's what we're very good at doing. And there is a process, but there's probably we need a whiteboard, we need a few things to be able to do that here, but
we're not going to. We don't need
really
that. I think
need
we're going to go through it and we're going to break it down what
Yeah.
that means, because I think a lot of people, when they are putting their property to the market, don't buy into what just the agent's saying.
Yeah.
You're actually selling your property to the buyers. So the only real true feedback you should be going off are the buyers. Now, the hard thing is to then qualify and make sure you're getting the right agent to run that right process. But to find the agent by the process, not by the price that they tell you they're going to achieve.
I think a common mistake a lot of sellers do, especially new people that are, looking to, sell their home for the first time, they usually go for the old mistake, and it's a big one, where they'll go with the agent who's said that they'll get the most, and then they'll they'll charge less than everyone else. What that is, it's a common recipe for a disaster. So you're basically starting on the back foot when you do go to market. Nowadays, look, realestate.com, just on the prices per suburb, you're talking, just under $3,000. In our core area, it's over $3,000, or just below $3,000, 3.5 or just under. That's just for one website. So owners actually have to put money aside for marketing. And if you're going to go with an agent that said, oh yeah, look, I think your house is worth 1.25, when there hasn't been a result near it, it's
Well, the biggest mistake that we see sellers make is going with the people or the agents who give the biggest opinion.
Yeah.
And they think that that's what actually wins.
Yeah.
It's not. The market will decide what your property is worth at the
Absolutely.
end of the day.
Yeah.
But it is our job to make sure we govern a good process and get as much competition in there.
Yep.
So now we are going to go into the reality. We were talking with Jade Bennett from Electo Finance last Monday.
Yep.
That was a day before the RBA came out and went,
and bang,
boom,
presto, bingo, bango. RBA interest rates went up by 0.25%. Yep.
I was watching something, I think you may have posted it on your story. There was a gentleman that did the breakdown since COVID and where the cash rate was at and where it is now. Owners in Melbourne on an average mortgage have had to come up with an extra $16,000
per annum. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just over.
That's just for a medium. So if you're looking at a higher, like that's on a $500,000 mortgage. If it's $1 million mortgage, that's nearly $32,000, and that's net, not gross. It's net. So someone who's working high level and is, if he hasn't got, if they've got corporations and whatnot, but if they've got to earn basically $60,000 to be able to cover that. And that's we're starting to see a few people that are having to get their second or third job just to make
ends meet.
Yeah, and which is a little bit disappointing. However, the RBA did come out, and it was great to see. Our government basically said, because of the Barmy Army, which and because of the seasonal spending and everything before Christmas, they use that lever as they always do. And if you ever really want to get some really good intel on how finances work, Mark Boras, the mentor, he talks I watch him, he's fantastic. And he basically said usually it's the government that's making those decisions, spending a lot more money, and it's come to the fore. So the RBA, the chief lady, came out and actually said, contrary to what Jim Chalmers said, the treasurer of the Labor Party, it's actually the government who's spending more that's lifted the inflation rate. And that is a common thread. I think a lot of people are oblivious to it. I would say anyone that's sort of post 50, 55, if they don't have a mortgage, it's not going to.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant because, hey, unless you've got investment properties or whatnot. But if you've got children and you can see that they've committed on a property and then all of a sudden interest rates are going to go up, and there's a chance that they're talking potentially it might go up a couple of times. We don't know. They didn't really say, oh, look, this is one. They could be looking to try and do a few things. So
they're trying to pull a lever that they're also creating.
Correct.
Which is a double whammy for anyone.
It's a double whammy. And
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating. For me, I find it very it's discouraging how belittling the government don't want to take accountability for their actions and then passing the buck onto the consumer and deflect and put it onto the Australian public. We all know, I think more and more people are understanding politics and more understanding the fiscal markets and how they work. And now, more than ever before, we've got people that we can actually access. You can watch podcasts, you can watch really good people that are in the actual game, and they can actually say that, well, look, this is what's going on, versus you would have to be a scholar to actually see what was going on. Or, so there's a lot more access to things that way. But look, we sort of knew that. I had a good hunch that it was going to go through.
Well, we knew that was, well, not new. We were, 99% confident. I think a lot of people were, a lot of brokers, a lot of banks, moving their fixed rates. All those sorts of things led to that decision that the RBA were going to increase by 0.25 basis points. So it is now the cash rate up to 3.85%. Yep. Now, and the frustrating thing for that was some buyers have disappeared.
There's no doubt. Like we had an auction, that last weekend, and we had a property that was sort of, really well priced. We had a lot of people that were interested. Because of the speculation, they didn't turn up on the day. Even throughout the week, some buyers that were interested in some of our properties have said, oh, look, we're going to hold off and see what's going to happen. So, look, buyers haven't necessarily just gone away. It's probably what it's going to do is it's going to flush out the ones that were sort of half-assed, weren't really committed. Like some of the buyers that we spoke to, and even now you talk to people, the ones that we love to talk to, Josh, and you would love this, the ones that have sold.
Oh, I was going to say the ones with the money, but
but to ask you a question, when you're dealing with buyers, what's a real telltale sign when you go, okay, this buyer's genuine, whereas the ones that are sort of sitting on the fence?
Well, I was actually we are going to play a bit of a game when we talk about the buyer feedback, but I think with the people that are on the fence, and for anyone who is getting feedback that is selling out there, the ones that are genuinely serious in terms of buying, they're cash ready. They're getting their things in order. They've got a timeline, but they're cash ready. They've got their pre-approval, which will last them 3 months. Yep. Yes, obviously they can get it all reinstated, but a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yep.
There's
a lot of and now with talking to a lot of, if you talk to a lot of brokers now, there's a lot of jumping through rings to, once you've done your finance approval to redo it again, to submit all your pay slips, etc.
If you're a small business,
and that's what we see.
Exercise.
We've seen some people that have been working for a company for 8-10 years, and they're looking to go out on their own, and they're like, we need to buy a property before we do that, because as a subcontractor or a new business owner, we can't facilitate that. So we need to get the loan whilst we're getting a paycheck. And then once we've got that, then they can sort of go out on their own. So
I heard a really good thing, and it's actually something that we do. And back to the buyer question, you almost want to be, I don't know if you've seen this guy and how he talks. He says, in terms of your property, you want to be getting the right buyers in front of you. You almost want to look at it like they're an athlete. Yeah. You want to have the people who are finance ready. Absolutely. You want to have them in condition. Yep. You don't want the ones that aren't necessarily in condition. So they might be 4 to 6 weeks away from purchasing. We don't want to find those buyers. That they're great to have at the property, whilst other, these serious condition ones are actually ready. You want people who are cashed up. You want people that are getting their due diligence done. So if someone's done a building and pest on a property for an auction property before, that's the telltale sign. It tells me that they're interested.
And those buyers that have, bid it at an auction weren't successful. They're the ones we're trying to deal with to try and, facilitate a transaction. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we love auctions, because it actually flushes out the buyers that are actually serious and the ones that aren't. And
it flushes the best buyer for your property.
Yeah, it does.
It's an unconditional basis buyer.
So, and look, the RBA, I've been in so many markets where interest rates go up, they go down, they go up. When they go up, hey, there's still buyers, there's still sellers out there. So, don't buy into that fear of, it's the end of the world. No, it's not. It's a bit of uncertainty at first, and now the lay of the land will happen, and then off we go. But
do you reckon it's in terms of those buyers? Do you reckon just because of the little bit of uncertainty, we won't see as much confidence come through? Or do you reckon I personally foresee that the foot traffic will quieten down over the next couple of weeks, and then I reckon it will pick back up again?
I think we saw over the weekend the numbers weren't overly, I think there was a lot of lot of things happening in Frankston. We had the Frankston waterfront festival, and there was a lot of people in and around. But I think buyers are going to become more selective. Your first open for inspections are usually a very good gauge. You'll get a lot of neighbours originally. You'll get a lot of those neighbours. You'll get the hot buyers that come through that have been looking for maybe 8 to 10 weeks, and they see a property they like, and then when they turn up, there'll be some serious interest. So I think buyers are going to be more selective. I think at the moment there is a bit of a shortage on stock, in particular in Frankston South. I think we could see more stock come on the market, which then will give buyers a bit more selection, which then, they'll be selective on what it is. And
on what properties.
And that's where, as an agent, you need someone who can guide you to be able to say, well, this is how you're going to get maximum attention on your property. And that's something we cover. But Josh,
we'll run through the pyramid. So we're going to run through the buyer pyramid. This is actually something that you will do quite often. Normally speaking, if you get us out and we're having a conversation with you in your living room, we'll talk to you about the buyer pool and how we're going to extract. At the end of the day, you've got the pyramid. Do you want to walk them through it?
Yeah, look, with the
because we're going to talk about where the buyers are and where the seller is and how we meet that or how we exceed that.
With a buyer pool pyramid, you're usually down the bottom of the bargain basement buyers. They're wanting to get it for nothing, right? And then you'll have in the middle a logical buyer that sees the value, possibly conservatively around that. They don't want to pay more than what the value is, whether it be a bank valuation or they're just logical.
Well, they're numbers driven. They're looking at the comparable sales. They'll always tell us who this one sold for this based on that one selling, and I've got to put X, Y, and Z into this amount. Yeah, I'm going to pay this. It's just spit out a number.
So you got the bargain basements, you got logical buyers, and then you got the emotional buyers, and that's the ones that will be ones that they want that home regardless, and they know that. When it comes to the crunch, it could be that they've got family that live in the next street, best friends are next door. They just want to be in that particular zone to be there. They see the value of the actual property in itself, and then they gauge on the interest that's there as well.
And the biggest thing, and like you said earlier, time is of the essence for that buyer.
Yeah.
More often than not, those people do get emotional because they've got a window of opportunity, and that window is getting smaller and smaller, and they will push harder than ever before to make it happen.
And look, at the end of the day, an extra, say, we've seen it where people will pay an additional, 40 to 50 grand above what they're willing to spend, and over the term of, the loan, it could be a coffee, one less coffee you're going to have at a coffee shop that you will contribute to the payment of the interest rates. And that's something that we see. So look, the interesting thing is it's being able to get all those buyer pool. And that's where, when it comes to pricing, if you're wanting a hallelujah price, and you're above the emotional buyers, well, when you put it on the market, that pyramid just basically gets thrown in the window, out the window.
Well, if you look at it, like you just said, if you look at all the comparables and then you go, okay, we're going to price it from where the top of the pyramid is at the emotional price, you actually need all the other ones to be able to push it up. So as a bit of a misconception, do you think that people really think about pricing and they go, okay, well, obviously every seller wants that top, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They want the top of the pyramid, but every buyer is actually arguably at that bottom price. They want
the bottom price.
They want a good deal.
And in terms of the pricing strategy and how you go about it, there are mechanisms in there that we talk about and explain in detail, which will, look, we're last year, I think we had just under 50% that said street record prices for our stock that we sold. And as a boutique company that we pride ourselves on getting the best price for our clients, that's quite comforting, but it's also a massive play. And I will say the hero in the story is the seller.
Correct.
Because they have listened, had faith in the process and said, look, we understand. And you got to remember, these owners have met agents that promised, oh yeah, we'll get you a little bit extra. Just put it on for that price, but it was going to be an elevator drop. So when I talk about elevator, you list it, and within, and I've seen it because I've been in offices where you've had 30, 40 people, salespeople, and it's just like, get the listings. Once you've got the listings, you can then educate them and you've locked them in. You can then drop their price, be a hammer.
And,
Now-
the interesting thing about that, you actually said something really earlier on, and something to really consider, guys, if you are really keen on selling. It's really easy for a big business that has a lot of turnover to guarantee a high price, have it on their books, and offer a low commission. Because one, it's not going to be hard work. The phones aren't going to be calling. The process is just going to be maybe one open a week.
One open a week. There'll be a call afterwards. Hey guys, there's no interest. We had the neighbour go through, and this is where.
So of course they can spec the time to give you a discounted rate and offer you this ridiculous price, and that is the elevator approach. You kind of have to come down.
It's a bit like the Fugazi, making up prices. I mean, we could go in to every listing presentation and give a Fugazi price, lock in our clients, get their marketing money, advertise online, put it out there, and online it look like we've got that much presence. And there's some agents that do that. Now, the reality is time is money, not just for our clients, but also for us. We've got families, we've got loved ones. We need to make sure that we're there. The last thing we want to do is,
these guys don't care about that. They care about what they're going to. At the end of the day,
what I'm saying is time is money. So for the client, I've seen clients that have been, they build a property, they're doing the landscaping, they put heart and soul, 14, 15 months of hard work. And then they get told a ridiculous price. And then it doesn't come to fruition. They've done styling, they've done this, they've done that. And all of a sudden,
Hey, you're committed, so you're going to have to drop your price.
Yeah. So this is where it's really important. But
what's based on that? Starting high.
Starting high is not the look.
Go price for competition.
Price for competition.
You want to be doing. And there's so much data out there. We always say data tells, the stories sell, and that is how you market, present your home, nail it. Now we're going to play a bit of a game. We're going to go. It's going to be so based on that pyramid.
Yes.
That buyer pyramid. I'm just going to quickly draw it out for people. Down the bottom, you got a little window. You got the bargain buyers. This is at the very bottom. You've also got where the buyers would love to achieve a deal. That's where the actual buyer would, because everyone is out. Every seller out there is a buyer. It is a fact, guys. In the middle, you've got the logical, and then at the top, you've got the emotional. So you want to be getting the people who are emotional to be pushing so that you can be getting the top dollar. That's flushing out the right one. All right. What we're going to do, we're going to put a bit of the scenario one is I'm going to give you a statement, and you're going to tell me where you put them in each of these categories.
Okay,
so you've got emotional, logic, and bargain.
Yep.
All right. So when I say game, it's a game day segment. You get what you get me?
I get you.
You get me? All right.
Let's go.
So they've been to 3 opens.
Yep.
And want to see what else comes up.
Bargain. They're a bargain buy.
Bingo.
Yep. Bingo, bango.
They've asked for the contract and checked recent sales.
They're logical, so they're more analytical based on,
Yeah, that's really, really good. I'm actually surprised you're getting this. I know I never gave you the answers. Number 3, they've sold already and need to move before school starts.
They're in between logical and emotional. So they're gonna be trying to be logical at the start, trying to buy at a relatively, trying to get at a good price. But as time wears on, the thought of...
I'll throw a curveball in there. They made offers on others and missed out.
Well, if they've made offers and missed out, they're going to be emotionally charged to buy and secure a property. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, number 4. They keep pointing out small things but haven't mentioned budget.
I would say they're bargain.
Yep. So those buyers that walk through and they won't even talk to you about, hey... and it's not a question that you just walk in. You never walk into someone and just say, hey, what are you willing to spend? They're actually at the open house. Obviously, they've got the cash to be able to spend within that range.
How many times have you seen, Josh, where we've seen buyers walk through multiple times on that particular property, miss out, and then they keep coming back and then they go, you got to give a really, really good price on that. And realistically, we thought it was here and it was on the market there, but you got way above. Like, this one's all right. And we're like, yeah, but the market's moving.
Yeah, I think like what we just said, it's flushing out those. Yeah. If you had a fitness regime.
Yep.
And I really love the analogy because everyone can think about that and you can paint the picture. The top premium person who's going to pay an emotional price is the fittest, most jacked, most healthy person who can run the race and run it better than anyone else. Those bottom buyers, They're just walking through, bag of chips, going, "Oh, this is."
And
for
how
me."
about the ones that we see that go? And I'll ask you this question, Josh. If we were to play, let me put this question to you: if you have a buyer that walks through and says, after you've asked for requests of their information to gain access, they turn around and say, "Thanks, Josh. Just want you to know, I want us on the do not call register. Do not call me."
They're on the list that get stuffed list. To be fair with you, if I had a list to create, they're not even on that pyramid. They're not even on the.
So are they? No. But let's put them into the. Are they? Have you got a list that are they emotional? Are they logical? Are they bargain?
They are
or
underneath.
Underneath
bargain.
Yep.
They are. They're trying their absolute. I know what you're saying. They're a definite bargain buyer.
Yep.
If you can't call them, how are we doing a deal?
Yeah. Very true.
How are we doing a deal? Guys, you need to be able to communicate. AI isn't that far yet. We haven't got there.
Yep.
I still think you need to communicate with that agent and tell them you're interested and be able to have a conversation with them.
Yep.
It's that simple. All right. Scenario number 5. They've missed out on 2 nearby homes and said they won't miss this one.
When it comes to that, it's usually an emotional. They're very emotional.
Yep. So. We've only got 2 more. They're pre-approved, comparing options and tracking the days on market.
I'd say they're logical.
Yep. And number 7, they came back for a second look and asked what happens if they offer today.
They are emotional.
Yep. I like it. What would you say in terms of price, in terms of all those ones?
Yep.
If you're selling, which buyer pool do you want?
Oh, without doubt, the emotion. That's where we've been able to really trigger that, the emotional buyers, and hence why out of just over the 40 plus results we got, we had over 20 plus properties that secured an emotional price because people didn't want to miss out. There was also the other thing that's really important. You want an emotional price, but to get an emotional price, you need logical buyers.
I was going to counter you. I was going to say you want them all.
You want them all there.
Because at the end of the day...
Even like we've had... How often have we started an auction and we quoted a range and sometimes they've come in under the range that we quoted? I'll still take the bid.
100%.
Because guess what? It doesn't matter where we start, it's where we finish.
You couldn't have said that any better.
You know what's funny? I went and watched an auction not long ago locally, and an agent had an out-of-town auctioneer, which was fine, a very good auctioneer. But what was interesting, when he started the quote, there was a buyer that came in at a lower level. We're not talking ridiculously lower, but it was probably 10% under where the bottom range was. And the auctioneer declined. And then there was no bids. So he put it in a bid at a higher level and then just passed it in. So all the buyers around were like, hey, so no one's here.
We have a very good analogy, and I love where you're going with this, because you can do 2 things. You can price high and then watch it drop like an elevator. Yep. Or you can price it like you need the momentum of an aeroplane, yeah? You need the momentum. You need the runway, and you need those jets to be pumping so that you get enough speed. And when it takes off and you get that 1 offer, and you get the 2, and you get the 3, then you get the 4, and then you start. And then once you permission to sell or on the market, then you're launched and you're in. You're in your. What do you call it? Your magic minutes. What do you call it?
I call it I call them the golden minutes. And it's beautiful because there will be a price, and I would say as an auctioneer, we all can get to a level where we know that that's probably market and above. But the golden minutes are where you've now got buyers that are emotionally attached. Yeah,
and I think I think one thing, and we're going to start doing more of this. We're going to actually go through each of our case studies that we've seen a lot of success and a lot of certainty created for that, that selling campaign. We do analyze our game days, our sales very, very heavily. And that brings me to the case study and proof of process for Kringle Drive. Yep. I wanted to talk about that and how that sale has unfolded, a bit of a tale of the sale, because that wasn't as straightforward. We had an RBA interest rate. We had a property quoted, and we started that campaign started this year. Yep. We had it 5. $450,000 to $595,000. Beautiful 2-bed, 1 bath. You know, 19, I think it was 50 years old, 1976. 320 square meters, almost a mini house. Directly across Kringle Hub on Kringle Drive. What happened with that one?
That one there was a successful campaign. We had 4 weeks leading up to the auction. First open, we had numerous numbers through. We had quite a lot of buyers that came in and said, look, will they take offers beforehand? We gauged from the interest where there was, and a lot of the feedback was sort of, you know, that mid to sort of, you know, that 550 to 570 range comfortably. And we knew that, you know, there was some really good interest. If we had an auction that day, we would have had quite a few people putting their hands up, which was interesting. But as the campaign wears on, it always goes from you'll get the first open, get huge numbers, and then it sort of peters off. That's just reality. So you control that market that first week, and then it's after that you've got to be a little bit patient if it doesn't come off. But on the day of the auction, we'd already registered. We had a couple of parties that were registering, and then on the actual night before and even on the morning, those buyers said, look, we're not going to be bidding. So we spoke to the owners very open and transparent, said, look, at this point, we may not have anyone bidding, but this is what we're going to do. As per our meeting, this is what we're going to go to plan C. We're going to pass the property in at around just around the level of where the interest is. And then what they will do is bring it will speed up some negotiation speed. So we passed in on a vendor bid at 560. And then pretty much straight after that, we passed it in. We notified all the buyers. We had 2 buyers that turned up on the day. It wasn't a big crowd like we thought. Based on the first, it was actually, and to be upfront, after the first open, I thought, yeah, we're going to have a pretty good turnout come auction day, but there wasn't as many as what we'd like. And some of the buyers did pull back a bit. But in saying that, we had a couple of buyers come after it, and then we were able to wrap it up on was it Monday or Tuesday?
The Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Well, we were in negotiations.
We were in negotiations pretty much Monday with multiple buyers, and it ended up getting.
I think you got the contracts back on the Tuesday.
Yeah, we got yeah, that's right, and it was all signed off on the Tuesday. So to me, look, you know, some clients, and it was nerve wracking, and we feel that for our clients because if you get to the day of the auction and there's no result, it can be deemed as a failure. And I never say that. It's always we're flushing out the good ones from the bad ones, and then once we put the reserve there of what we need it to be, then we're going to be able to get the buyers. If we can't get it, well, then certainly the market's determining where it's at. You've got a choice whether to take it off the market or meet the market. And I think in that situation, we felt that, you know, we're going to comfortably get what they did, and we did. And multiple parties were pushing for it. So it was good.
Which is I think a good thing. And that kind of summarizes our whole conversation today.
Yeah.
Don't chase the opinions of the agents, chase the competition. Find the agent who's going to run a very competitive process. Make sure they're protecting your price. We could have just sold it that day for $560 comfortably if we wanted to, but you pass it in, you do the right things, and you aim for the absolute most that we can get. That's how we get. Yeah. You know, time and time again, at the end of the day, you know, we have a job to do, and if we get a crap price, it's not what we're here to do. We're not just here to pass a property in to then lower them on price. We actually want to get a great result for them.
We're about making sure we secure the best price for our clients, and if we can't at prior to auction or on auction day, we'll advise them, guys, I don't think we've had that right buy come through yet. But hold on, be patient. We know the strategy, we know the market better than anyone. Like I've been in it 25 years, you've been in it 10 years, and I know that area pretty well. So we're dealing with a lot of buyers. There could be some that couldn't transact under auction terms, but want to get a longer settlement. They haven't sold their home, so you know the buyers will always come out of the woodwork, and there's always a buyer for a property. We know that.
There's only one buyer who can buy your home,
correct?
Unless they're doing it jointly with their family, but still it's one party,
correct?
It's just flushing that right buyer out, and if you've got competition, you're going to sell strongly. Yep. Now, the only other thing, weirdly enough, we were talking about Frankston. The Waterfront Festival was on. That was a very big hit. I think a lot of people did love it.
Yep.
The I can't crack the code on social media, guys. You're going to have to explain this to me. The viewers are going to have to make some comments. We saw plenty of comments coming in for Frankston.
Yes.
And it was quite funny. We've been trying to create, good content, valuable content, and I picked up a pair of Meta glasses, the good old, what's his name? Zuckerberg
yeah.
Sunnies?
Yep, the Meta Sunnies. I must say, Josh, that was a fantastic, you in your Bath driving down Oliver's Hill, and we had it pretty much went viral in some aspects.
Oh, I mean, I don't think it's over 50K.
50,000. It was a lot of 50,000 views. What was interesting, we had a lot of comments, and there are always going to be haters. Having worked and lived in Frankston South for many, many years, that 3199 postcode does get a bit of a bad rap. But I must say, some of those comments from some people, you had to laugh, and some of them were correct. I mean, down the bottom of Oliver's Hill, we know that is
it's a cop trap.
It's a cop trap. They'll have speed cameras down there, the booze bus down there. In particular, as you sort of go past Liddesdale on the right hand side, because that's the only way. There's only one way into Frankston through via the Peen Highway. Once you get past it, the medium strip. So we know the potholes. We know. But
we know so it's funny. I think I wish I had pulled up all the comments, but it was quite funny to watch how many people would bag out Frankston and say, that the area, lock your doors. I think someone said, if you park up at Oliver's Hill, your tyres will be gone at the end of it.
Well, I did answer to one. There was a guy who said, you get down the bottom and you'll park your car somewhere in Frankston and you'll find your car on bricks. Now, true story, my daughter, her Holden Captiva, that actually happened. And I had to pick her up. I noticed that because her wheels were in high demand and she just bought them, 4 wheels were taken off. Broad daylight, opposite, the where you got the TAFE, yet people just help themselves. So, look, they've got now cameras around. So back then, that car park in particular, they've now put cameras up. I don't think that would have happened. But, I think Frankston does get a bit of a bad rap. I mean.
It always, it seems to always have. I mean, it's the end of the train line for a metro line. And, I mean, go into Flinders Station in the city. There's a lot of – and that's just a struggling time for a lot of people. Yes, do we have – there are some, I'm not going to denote, there are some characters that come across.
Oh, there's some absolute lunatics, but you go to any town and
I think you're going to find them.
You're going to find them. You're going to find them. You go to a little country town, there's, unfortunately, the way the world is at the moment, accessible to, and that comes back to, is it the social demographic that we have? Or, is it the more drugs that are accessible and easily accessible? Is that impacting not just our community but many communities? I think that's something.
I think that'd be impacting a lot of communities.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's just. I think that's changed over the last 10 years.
It's look. Frankston's been. I've always felt safe of coming and going into the city via train on the way back. I can understand though for young women that would be probably my daughter. My 2 daughters, I wouldn't advise them to do that. No. But, in saying that, I'd pick them up. If they got off the train, there's always, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. You've got all the security, et cetera there. So it's actually pretty good. So I think,
if they clean it up a little bit more, it'd be nice. But I do get that.
I do agree, and I have said this, the commercial side of things, we're starting to fill up the shops, but there's still a lot of vacant businesses or shop fronts that have no businesses in there, and when that happens, it can bring in a bit of the riffraff. We know that.
Yeah, they get up to no good. But did you have any questions for me? That's pretty much everything. I think that was the only thing we were going to cover. What have we got? Actually, you've got some really nice listings that you should talk about. Particularly, I actually really want to know more, and I want you to tell the viewers about Catherine Parade and Spring Street, because I think they're 2 very similar locations.
Okay.
One's in the wait. They're both.
No, they're both in the high school zone. I'll give you the rundown on 11B Catherine Parade. That's a stunning brand new home that's been built. It's a townhouse, but you could say it's a house as well. It's set on about just over 300 square metres, double car garage. You walk in, it's got 4 bedrooms. You've got a master bedroom, beautifully done downstairs, walk-in robe, and then you've got the beautiful ensuite. You walk through upstairs, you've got another 3 bedrooms, master with. So you've got 3 bathrooms, two primaries have en-suites and walk-in robes. So if you got dual families, that's going to be great. If it's an investment, it's going to be great because the investment side of things are going to be huge. But the quality in that property is amazing. So you got an open plan style living that opens up under a pergola. It's only been built, so we're going to have access to that. We're going to be auctioning that in March, and that's going to be getting photos. At the moment, all the landscaping, everything's getting done as we speak. We'll have the stylist going through. We'll get that all fitted out nice and neat. It's going to be an absolute cracker. And in terms of position, Catherine Parade, for those who don't know, it's sort of like it's near the Golden Triangle. It's tucked in between Beach Street and Cranbourne Road. So literally it's a stone's throw into town. You could walk into Frankston and be there in 5 minutes. You've got park. Yeah. You've got park around the corner. You've got the bulky goods. If you wanted to, you could walk across.
Have you seen, sorry, I'm going to cut you short on this.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Frankston Arts Centre, how they've put out the front?
No.
FAC?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
What are they opening themselves up for?
Oh, they could have. Well,
big capitals, FAC. And I was like, but let's bring it back to park. That's what brought it up.
It was funny. When they originally had the new gym and the aquatic centre getting built on Cranbourne Road, originally it was floated that the council had said, look, it's going to be the Frankston Aquatic Recreational Centre. So if you abbreviated that, it actually meant
Fark.
So Lord Farquhar. So they quickly realised, geez, hang on, we better change it. Now, Frankston, it's now the Peninsula. I don't know.
It's Peninsula.
It's Peninsula Aquatic. We're basically at the start of the Peninsula.
We're calling everything Peninsula. We've gone Peninsula University Hospital.
Everything's Peninsula. So the play of words has been very, very good from council, but luckily they got onto it. I think there was...
Is that even allowed?
What's that?
Like, are they allowed to claim that they're the Peninsula?
I don't know. Like, we're more into Peninsula, so maybe the Peninsula is up.
No, we're not. We're our own council. So the Frankston City Council, they're like, no, we make our own rules. We are the Peninsula.
It's all good. But
the next Street.
Next property, Spring Street. That one there is a cracker corner block. It's set on just under 400 square meters. Clinker brick. It's got beautiful facade. Walk into town. It's tucked away. So opposite you got the croquet club, and then across the road you have Victoria Park, which is a fantastic little area where you've got parkland and footy goals, and they play cricket down there. And then just literally a stone's throw is Kinetic Park, which is awesome. That property is 3 beds, 2 bathrooms. It's got a garage, like a garage carport, which is access. It's got a nice entertaining area. It's got a really good feel, high ceilings. And it's got charm and character. So they got us on the back of a result that we got around the corner in William Street. We auctioned a place there, and they couldn't believe the result we got, being for a 2-bed, 1 bath. They said, look, Josh, we'd love to meet with you and go through the process, which is great. So they're coming soon. They're really good.
I actually told Nona today about that William Street, the one that I went out to, and they were shocked. They were like, what?
Yeah.
You got that? And it's like, that's what happens when you have a competitive process. You get the right people.
But the right people being the sellers were the heroes. So as agents, often people will be like, oh, I'm the greatest agent, blah, blah, blah. You can't be great without – we form a part of the transaction, no doubt, and we will work and be able to market it and get the best price. Without question, we're great negotiators in real world, real time, in an auction format. But it comes back, it's always the hero of the story is our clients, our sellers. And we see some clients afterwards, if they say it was a property where they passed in market, they were just a little bit more than what they wanted. if they could go back in time, they go, look, yeah, we understand now the process. We should have, that first advertised price was so crucial. We probably got a little bit overzealous because at the start of the campaign, they were keen to do that. And then they changed halfway through because they gave it a paint. They did all these things and they thought, oh, well, we've added value. So can we move the range up? So, and you have to do what the owners want.
100%. Now, just quickly, just to wrap it all up, with the cash rate and the RBA pulling the levers over here, and they are going to have an implication with a lot of the investor market, and a lot of, you're not necessarily going to hurt a lot of the owner occupiers who are trading in the same market, but you are going to limit, and foot traffic will decrease. Do you think it's very important that owners create a high level of certainty for their specific property when they take it to market?
Absolutely. You need an agent that can have a strategy based and targeting the right niche buyers. And I think with the rate, look, anything sub sort of 850, 900 in Frankston still going nicely. Anything under sort of 1.2 in Frankston South still going to go along nicely. I think as the price range and the increments get higher, that's where, like you said, I think you'll need to have a real strategic plan of attack. It's not just like, oh yeah, let's slap it on. We've got all these buyers. Throw it to market, see. Yeah, if you are wanting just to test the market out, and look, we do see that. Like, I mean, let's be honest, we've had some clients that will pay, $6,000 or with other agents, and what they've done is it's purely for market value. So that could be, it's a divorce. We don't know that. They put it to market. They're just trying to find out what price they're going to get, and then they'll withdraw it, and then they'll, one party buys the other party out based on what it was worth, because the valuation that's come in on other fronts haven't been where they needed to be, so they've tested it out. So that can happen. Like that, let's be upfront. But we personally don't like to. We would prefer not to be. We don't take those sort of properties.
No, you just. I mean, you don't want to annoy buyers. You don't want to annoy owners in that marketplace as well. And there's just no. Yes, obviously for that for that specific seller, it might be what they need. But there's a lot of big brands that can take it on, put it on their books, and
they'll put them on and say, look, all the owners had to change heart, and then. Whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it comes back. We want to deal with people that want to buy, and we want people that want to sell. And that's the reality, because we're not a museum of real estate. We don't collect real estate just to look and make everyone, get the owners offside or the buyers offside. We're here to sell and get the best results. And
all right, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe. Please subscribe. We've only got I think we jumped up to 7 or 8 now, Dad.
Oh, fantastic. We're moving in abundances.
We're numbers driven, guys. So we're key. We want those numbers to be pushed up. No different to the sale prices that our owners expect of us. So guys, we'll see you in next week of Selling Frankston. Thanks for watching.
See you then.